we are going to go through 5.7 today. AX plus BY equals C form, which we call standard form. Okay? So learning goal, graphing equations using our X and Y intercepts is going to show you a different way to graph the equations today. And then being able to change our equations to AX plus BY equals C form. I thought that was standard form. Standard form is AX plus BY equals C. Now the reason we have a different form like this is because sometimes it's much easier to graph our equations when it's in this form, and then it also allows us to, when we have our variables on one side, to not have to manipulate things quite as much. Okay, so what are the properties of A, B, and C? Well, in standard form, we need to have numbers here, here, and here. Okay, the properties of A, B, and C, well, A, B, and C cannot be fractions, and what I mean by that, they have to be whole numbers. Okay. But when I say they have to be whole numbers, or they have to be integers, I guess, B can be negative and C can be negative. When I get into that, it makes it a little more difficult. So when I'm saying they can't be fractions, they can't be like 1/3 or 1/2. I mean, if it's 5, 5's okay. Is 5 a fraction? See, you guys say no. As a math teacher, I'm like, yeah, that's a fraction, dude. It's just 5 over 1. But that's me getting mathy with it and pretty technical. So when I'm saying it can't be a fraction, it just can't be what you're thinking of as a fraction. Okay? And it can't be negative. A cannot be negative. So this can't be negative. That could be negative and that could be negative, but that one can't be, to be truly in standard form. So these are the 2 rules you need to follow. So for those of you that are sitting there right now going, no worries, I can remember that. Great, you should really write it down because you might not remember it here at the end of the chapter when you're studying for your test. Okay, you have all these little rules that we have. Okay, and maybe you will remember it, and then you just have it written down for the next person that finds your notes, in like 50 years. Your grandchildren will be going, whoa, look at this. Amazing. Yeah. I know, some of you never throw away any papers, right? Brendan had like a whole stack piled up just from one week. Why use standard form? Standard form is going to help us to graph real easy. So you thought slope-intercept form was easy. Standard form can be really easy. Okay, and we do that by using the X and Y intercepts. So tell your neighbor what the X-intercept is, and tell your neighbor what a Y-intercept is. Okay, can someone tell me what the X-intercept is? Go ahead.
Where the line crosses the X-axis.
Good, where the line crosses the X-axis. And what's the Y-intercept then? Cool. Good, so all we're doing is trying to find where the line crosses the X-axis and Y-axis. So in standard form, if those are my axes, those are really bad. But if I have an X-intercept and I have a Y-intercept, oops, I did that backwards, X-intercept and Y-intercept, it only takes 2 points to graph a line. If I have those 2, I can draw a line through it, and then I have my line graphed. And that's what we're doing here. Okay? So let's try this. It also is really helpful when you're relating 2 variables with rate, and we'll see that a little later here. Okay? Example 1, this is off your assignment, so if you take a look at your assignment, numbers 1 and 2, I would mark these in my notes and then just put the answers on 1 and 2. That way when you're going back and studying for your test, you have some notes to reference. Okay? When you'll have a test coming up here. I don't think it's next week, but it's the following week. Okay? So we'll get ready for that. Find the X-intercept and the Y-intercept of each equation. So there's a few things we need to remember about X and Y-intercepts. X-intercept is when Y equals what? Uh-oh. Y-intercept is when X equals what? Yeah, 0. If we go back to, let me go back to this picture real quick. If this is my x-axis, when it crosses X, I have a coordinate. I have some kind of number for X, and then that's at 0 on Y. So when Y is 0, you know your X-intercept. Okay? And some of you starting to tune out all of a sudden. You're like, okay, kind of done. Like I've had my 5 minutes of math. I'm good. Stay with me. Here. when we have our y-intercept, we put a hashtag there. That's a number, right? And then x is 0. So we go to 0 on x, and we go up a certain number on y. Here we go to a number on y, or x, okay, and then up, we don't go up or down, so it's 0 on y. So if I'm looking at an equation, rather than having to graph it, what I could do is I could say, well, to find the x-intercept, it's when y equals 0. So all I need to do is plug 0 in for y, which really just means I'm, in this case, that's 0, so that disappears. So now I have an equation of 2x equals 4. Well, if 2x equals 4, what's x? 2, yeah. So when y is 0, so here's all the math behind it, right? (2x equals 4). All we do is plug 0 in for y. We now have 2x equals 4, and 1x is 2. So that's my x-intercept. All right? I'm thinking of that same problem, so I'm going to rewrite the problem here. If I want to find my y-intercept, that's when x is 0. So I never want to put 0 in for x and solve for y. Tell your neighbor what you get. All right, Toki, what do you get?
3.
You get 3? So when you put 0 in for x right here, so we'll go 2 times 0 plus y equals 4. And what's 2 times 0 is? Or 0. 0 plus y is 4. So y actually equals, yeah, 4. Okay. Did you get a 1 here, maybe? So when we're putting 0 in for x, that's just going to 2 times, anytime we put that 0 in, it just makes that whole piece disappear. So really, you could just cover it up with your finger, and that tells you your answer. All right? Okay, any questions on that? Toki, figure out where you made your mistake. Let me show you where we're going with that. All right? There's my xy axis. X is 2. Right there. Y is 4. Right there. And we'd have our line. All right. What's the slope of that line? Brendan? -2. You go down 4 and over 2. All right. -4 over 2, which is -2, yeah. So we could quickly find our slope if we wanted to also. Okay, it doesn't show us it as easy up here, right? We don't have it in slope-intercept form. Okay. Everyone rate themselves 1 to 5 right now. 5, you understand what's going on. 1, you're struggling, and where were we at? Okay. Want everyone to try number 2. It's right on your assignment there. So give it a go.
You just say x equals 9. Where did you get that?
All right, I'm going to start with the x-intercept. So we're putting 0 in for y. Now notice when you multiply something by 0, what happens to it? Annalise? It automatically becomes 0. So this part right here is going to become 0. So really I have x plus nothing equals 9. So if I have x plus nothing equals 9, really I can just kind of ignore that nothing and just say x equals 9. We could just kind of cover that up. X equals 9. Okay, so now if you're not quite getting that, correct, then let's figure out what's going on. So if you didn't get that, tell your neighbor what you did wrong right now.
What did you do wrong? I changed y.
Okay, so let's go to our y-intercept. Y-intercept, I rewrote the problem here, is when x is 0, we plug it in. That becomes 0, so 3y equals 9. What's y? Everyone? 2? 1? 3, yeah, it's 3. Okay. That wasn't everyone. It's not. Okay. 3y equals 9, so y is 3. Okay, how many got x correct? How many got y correct? All right, very good. Any questions on them? All right, I want you guys to spend some time working on those first, I don't know, 6 problems or so, first 8 problems. And go about a couple minutes. Actually, first 4 problems, I guess. You only got 2 more. Let you finish up those. Questions on 1 through 4 there? Yeah, Annalise?
On 4, x becomes a fraction.
Yeah, so that's going to happen sometimes. So it's a good question. On number 4, x ends up being a fraction when we do it, right? So we plug in 0 for x, and y becomes -2. Right? How many got y equals -2? That's good. But then when we plug that 0 in for y, this part disappears, right? It just becomes 0. But then you're like, well, 4 times what is 10? It doesn't go in evenly, so I got to divide by 4 on both sides. I get x equals 10/4, good buddy. Okay? And 10/4 is actually 5 halves, which some of you would call 2.5. Okay? All right. So yeah, that happens sometimes. Good point there. Any other questions? Yeah.
On 6 and 8.
No, I'm not there yet though. But check it out. It's like I was reading your mind, Bobby. On 6. Yeah. Caden, 1 through 4 questions?
No, no, just the graph. Do we need a straight edge?
Yeah, you should use a straight edge. Bobby had a question on 6 though. So it says find the x and y intercept of each equation, then graph. So Bobby, what was your question on 6?
The 6 doesn't go on the graph.
6 doesn't fit on the graph. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Like what kind of weak graphs am I giving you here? Dude, it's like the Niners receivers, you know? Unbelievable. Okay. X plus 3y equals 6. So when we do the x-intercept, Jake, what do I get for an x-intercept on this one? Yeah, what's y? When y is 0, what's x? Yeah, so you do know. You're just joking. Okay, x equals -6. What's our y-intercept, Jaden? Or x is 0. Yeah, almost. -2, yeah. Right? If it changes sign, you have to make it negative. Okay? So good. Everyone got that? So now Bobby's point is a valid one. It says, hey, it doesn't fit. Well, that's if we're going up by 1s. So let's not go up by 1s. Let's go up by 2. Let's go up by 2. So on x, I'm going to go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And the way I'm going to define that is just to write 10 there. And I'll write -10 here. Okay? Now I've changed my scale. All right? I'm going up by a different interval there. So 2, 4, -6. Booyah. And then y, I'm just going to make them all going up by 2 just so I don't confuse myself. Okay? So go down to -2. Kerchow. And then Caden's question about a straight edge. You definitely want to use straight edges. So some of you got them on your calculator. You use your calculator cover. Some of you like using the cool rulers. They rule. So here we go. If anyone wants to grab it and run it back there, so Caden has to keep chasing it. All right, everyone's getting their straight edge. You guys don't carry these things with you?
No.
Yeah.
I'm too poor.
Unbelievable. I carry my ruler everywhere I go.
Uh-oh.
Got a little pouch for it on my belt. It's cool. Jake, you don't have to tell me how impressed you are. I know.
I wonder if you actually could do that if you made that sharper on the end. You should try it. You should try it.
All right. You guys can just slide your rulers in your belt The belt loop there.
Really?
Be cool.
What if you're
Or you
wearing
can go like this.
It's not going to work as well. Just saying.
Or you can
That's
have
why
it-
I don't wear leggings.
Or you can have it like
Okay.
this. Like this. If a bullet tries to attack you, you can like.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, like ninja style.
Got it.
All right. Bobby has a suggestion if you're wearing leggings, you just put it behind your back there. Okay.
I know, fine.
Number 7. Give it a go. Try number 7 there. All right, Toki. What's my X-Intercept?
3.
3. Let's check it out. Almost.
-3.
-3. Good. Yep. All right, Audrey. What's the Y-intercept? Yeah, it is 5. Good. All right. Can we go up by ones this time? Yeah, it's not much as much of a rip-off as the last one where we actually had to think through it a little more. Unbelievable. Don't want too much influence there. Got to ease our way into the thinking this early in the morning. There we go. Whew. Good. How many got it? I like standard form for graphing. It's really fast. Okay. Personally think it's fast. Yep, there's the cool ruler. They rule. All right. Want everyone to take about 4 or 5 minutes, work on that section. So right now you're going 5 through number 20. 5 through 20. Okay. Questions on those that you've done so far? Okay, I want you to look at this portion right here. All right, write an equation for a line through the given point with the given slope. Now, we've done this before, right? The 2 things we need to write an equation are what? Yeah. M and B. Yeah, and so they give us M here. We need to find B. Okay? So right now, I want on number 23, I want everyone to get to this point. This is what we were doing yesterday. You're given M, you're given a point, find B for me. Go for it. All right. I'm going to slide that up there. So we have the form y equals mx plus b. Right? We know M, it's 3. And we want to find b, so we need to use an x and a y, and it's pretty convenient. They give us an x and a y. So we're going to put our 5 there for y. For our x, we're going to put our 2 there, and we're going to solve for b. So we get 6 plus b. So bb, subtract 6 on both sides. What is b? -1. Yeah, so b is -1. All right. So now we're not quite done. We've got to write our equation. So our equation is going to be y equals 3x minus 1. Now, is that what they've asked us to do? They said to write the equation, but we need to put it in this form. Okay? Now remember, if we're putting it in standard form, we need to start moving. What do we need to move around? Go ahead, Annalise.
the X.
Yeah, we got to move the x over so x and y are on the same side. So how are we going to move that? Add? Yeah? Subtract? So let's look at it. If we're looking at it as we uncover it, is that a positive or a negative 3x? It's a positive. So to move a positive 3x, we subtract it. So we're going to subtract 3x. Don't let that negative sign back here that goes with the 1 confuse you. So we'll subtract 3x. Now we can't actually do anything with that. Let me zoom in there a bit more. Okay, we can't actually do anything with the y minus 3x, so we're going to write it as negative 3x's, and that's a positive y. And that's equal to -1. Are we good? No? What's wrong with it? Yeah, you can't have a negative a value, right? Remember back to our very beginning, the different things that we stated. Okay, a cannot be negative, a, b, and c cannot be fractions. So let's make this a positive. So to do that, we would have to factor out a -1 or just flip all the signs. So if we change that to positive, this becomes negative and this becomes positive. So really what you're doing there is you're dividing everything by -1. That's what's happening. Okay, but really, in math, if you change one sign, you can change all of them and balance it out. And so now we're good. We got A's positive. It's okay if B's negative. And C. And none of them are fractions. So the front is positive, and there aren't any fractions. Okay. Think we got it? Yeah? Why don't you guys try number 24? Let's give 24 a go. All right, there's our xy, there's our m. Y equals mx plus b. You guys are kind of cranking through them. Our m is 5. Our x is 6. Our y is 1. We're finding b. So it's like they saw on a few of your papers. Many of you had b equals negative 29. That is correctamundo, right? Subtract that 30 on both sides. You get that negative 29. So once you write it out, y equals 5x minus 29. How many made it that far? Good. So what do I need to move again? Yeah. Yeah, let's move the x's. So we'll subtract 5x, subtract 5x. Get negative 5x plus y equals negative 29. What's wrong with it? Marie? Yeah, x is negative, so we make it positive. So if we change that to positive, we have to change this to negative, and this becomes positive. Flip all your signs. Okay, how many have started 25? I said a bunch of you were working on it. I'm going to go through 25 right now. This is a class, so if you haven't started it, let's go through. When I do this one, y equals mx plus b. Again, our x and our y. Our m is negative 4. X is negative 2 plus b. It's equal to 4. We get positive 8 plus b equals 4. So bb, negative 4. That what you guys got? Yeah? Okay. Y equals negative 4x minus 4. We add our 4x. In this case, do we have to move any signs? No, we're good to go. Okay. All right, so your job is to finish the packet with the exception of number 21. You can skip. No, hold on. You can skip number 22. 22. Cross out 22. You need to try 21. Okay, get a good start on 21. Any questions? What's that? This is due on Monday. Yep. Spend a little time on it. Time flies when we're having fun. It's 1 minute left. Make sure my rulers get back. Calculators.